Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be trying to answer one specific question. Is Old Kirk worthy of bearing the Willet name? I've got here a sample of an Old Kirk, which is distilled by Willet. Okay, so this is distilled in Bardstown, Kentucky by Willet. And, you know, the Willet Purple Tops, they are highly sought after. People go crazy for them. And Willet actually sells their distillate to, you know, other people who are interested in bottling it and selling it and putting a label on it as well. So that happens. And this is supposedly the same stuff. You're looking at, you know, 6+ year bourbon from Willet. That's the same stuff that, you know, is going into Purple Top. So this sample here is 6 years and 9 months old. It comes in at 124.7 proof, so pretty high on the proof point. And it was bottled by Strong Spirits Incorporated. I do really like the branding for the Old Kirk bottle. I think it looks really classy. It almost makes me think of Prohibition days bottling. Almost has more of like a medicinal, you know, label on it that makes you think this is something that you would find on a drugstore shelf, you know, back during Prohibition days. So respect for the branding, I like it. Now Willet's pretty well known at this point because they were actually, when they had to shut down the distillery, they bought up, the owner, Evan, at the time, had bought up tons of bourbon, tons of barrels of bourbon from other places that other people had you know, distilled, and stored them in his warehouse so that, you know, when restrictions were lifted, he was able to start moving this bourbon, and it was aged well. It was old stuff with mature flavors, and people were eating it up. And he was like, crap, we got to start distilling now, because eventually we're going to run out of this stuff, and people are going to continue to want our products. So if we want to continue to sell well-aged old bourbon, we got to get to work. And they did. And their stuff is still highly coveted to this day. So the question is, did they pick a good barrel? Is this Old Kirk worthy of bearing the name of the Willet Distillery? Let's see. I should note that a bottle of Old Kirk is probably going to put you back around $135-ish. Really does depend on where you're getting it from. But most likely on the secondary, you're going to be buying it for a whole lot more than that. You're paying for the name, right? You're paying for the name of the Willet product. So just to be clear, this is Willet juice, purchased by a different company, and then bottled under their own labeling. So some Willet stuff does not go over quite as well, like the pot still stuff, which is kind of widely renowned as sort of gimmicky these days. But the Purple Top stuff is no joke. So let's get in on this. This is a bourbon, by the way. So mash bill on this is traditionally going to be 72% corn, 13% rye, 15% barley, which is higher in the barley department than, you know, than average. First thing I'm noticing rolling this around, it's got a great thick viscosity to it, very oily. Getting some nice thick drippy runs going down the side of the glass here, which is visually always very pleasing, 100%. See that thin layer of film coating the glass? Love that. Let's give her a nose. This great like white peppercorn spice right up front. A little bit of butterscotch and cherries, but I don't think dark cherries. I don't think black cherries. I think like bright summer red cherries. As a kid growing up, we had 2 cherry trees in our backyard. I would climb up there and pick cherries in the summer right off the branches. This has got that vibe, that summer bright cherry note. And a little bit of baking spice on the nose too. Very appealing, no doubt, on the nose. Oh, look how thick that is. Look at those thick drips right there on the side of the glass. Oh, it's nice and thick. I love that. That means I'm probably looking at having a really nice long drawn out finish with this one, because it's going to be clinging everywhere inside there. I can get down with that. Let's try it. Man, there's so much cherry on that palate. Cherry, cinnamon red hots, maybe even like grape jelly, some good grape jam in there, you know? That thick mouthfeel, just making those fruit notes cling on for extra long. There's almost even like an herbal quality in there too. Not floral, more herbal, kind of earthy. Just got sort of a subtle undertone. It's not front and center at all, but it accompanies those other flavors quite nicely. Like that a lot. Now, despite the age and the proof, it doesn't have a lot of those dark, deep, rich flavors. You know what I mean? It's more bright and fruity and very aromatic, and it doesn't blow your palate out with that proof point either. I mean, it is very oily. I love it. Hey, I absolutely approve. I 100% approve. Is it worthy of bearing the name Willet? I'm gonna say yes. Yes, it is. I will note that I kind of scrolled back in my bourbon group here in Grand Rapids, and because I thought I remember seeing a post not too long ago about Old Kirk, and sure enough, it was about a year ago. And one of the members of our bourbon group in Grand Rapids had posted a picture of like 12 Old Kirk bottles on a Meyer shelf. And it's like there's this one Meyer in the rich part of town on East Grand Rapids where all the doctors live, and he was like, "Come now." Keep your eyes peeled. You gotta keep your ear to the ground when you want to find stuff like this. The guy that sent me this sample, actually, he entered a raffle, so he bought like a $32 raffle ticket, and it was chances are decent. It's like a $160 bottle-ish, I think is what he said. So they just divvy that price up among all the entrants. So you pay $5. You're entered into the raffle with 4 other people, 5 of you total. You got a 1 in 5 chance, and he won it. So he got a bottle for $32. So it's kind of about knowing where to look for stuff like this. And a little bit of gambling, maybe. I mean, talking about bright summer fruits, the more this sits on my palate over time, I've had now like 4 sips of this. And as that finishes just sitting there over time, some peach notes kind of come forward too. I get a little bit of like a good summer peach. Man, that's great. Definitely worthy of bearing the name Willet. I'm going to give it an 8.4. If I ever see a bottle of this at or around MSRP, I would be hard-pressed to pass it up. I recommend you do the same. Thanks so much for watching. Hey, if you ever want to get involved in our little whiskey community, feel free to join the Discord. There's a link in the description to join our Discord, talk whiskey, share notes and recommendations, stuff like that. And we do events like tasting events, like we're doing a virtual tasting here in a couple of weeks, so really excited about that. I've got all the bubble wrap and everything. I'm packaging up the samples as we speak and getting those all ready to ship out. So those will be, for those of you who signed up, you'll be getting your boxes with your samples of whiskey here pretty soon, hopefully. And of course, if you ever want to send me something to review on the channel, a lot of the stuff that I actually get to taste and review, they're full bottles or they're just samples that people send in. That's all because you guys are so supportive. And, we get to share the experiences together. So you're giving me samples of stuff that you find out there that I am not fortunate enough to get my hands on, which I really appreciate. If you ever want to send me a sample of anything, just contact me right there in the Discord. And I'd be happy to try anything you send my way. Thank you so much, everybody. Cheers. May you live richly and get better with age. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.